Alright boys, so in this video I want to have a bit of a discussion with you. A discussion revolving around Arc 3.0 and all of the Arc 3.0 subclasses in general, but mainly Arc 3.0. And I want to talk about why I feel like Arc 3.0 is boring or bland, I should say. Bland is more of a fitting word for what I'm trying to get across here. Now, the reason I say that is because if you look at the previous 3.0 subclasses and even Stasis, right? For Void, there was 6 keywords. There is Overshield, Devour, Invis, Weaken, Suppress, and Volatile. If we look at Solar, we have Radiant, Scorch, Ignite, Cure, and Restoration. And Arc only has 3 keywords. Only 3. There's Blind, Jolt, and Amplified. Now Stasis only has 3 as well, but I'll get to Stasis in just a little bit. Now the reason I'm bringing up all these keywords is because I feel like Arc 3.0 doesn't really have a sense of identity amongst the 3 classes. Arc Warlock really doesn't feel that much different from Titan, and Arc Titan doesn't really feel that much different from Hunter. All 3 of the Arc 3.0 subclasses are so focused around getting into the fray of combat and meleeing everything. Like, that's it. That's what Arc 3.0 is about. And if we look at Solar and Void, each one of those elements had unique identities within each subclass. Void Warlocks are the master of Devour. Getting kills will completely refill your health and give you grenade energy. They're the masters of manipulating dark matter within space to use it to your advantage to summon Nova Bombs and overcharge grenades, or able to pull out sentient black holes from thin air to then track the enemies and weaken them and slow them down. Void Titan is the front line of your fire team. They're able to put their barricade down and give everyone behind them overshields. They're able to spread volatility everywhere to keep your team alive and really push the pace of combat and keep that frontline tank role really powerful. And Night Stalker, the true assassin subclass, the masters of striking from the shadows. You're able to sneak up behind enemies and weaken them with your melee attack to then go right back into Invis and reappear elsewhere on the battlefield. And you also have your Tether, which will group enemies up to make easy work of them. And the same thing can be said about Solar with these type of identities that each one of the subclasses have. But with Arc, there's only 3 keywords, which leads to a lack of uniqueness within the 3 subclasses. All the 3 subclasses have access to Amplified, which allows you just to get into combat and punch things faster. Right, they all just do the same thing. Void Warlocks were the best at proccing Devour, but Arc Warlocks are the best at doing what? They don't really have any type of keyword that's mainly specifically for them. Void Titans are the best at having overshields, but Arc Titans are the best at doing what? You can see my point here. But now I want to move on to Stasis, because Stasis also only has 3 keywords. Stasis has Slow, Freeze, and Shatter. But the difference with Stasis is that they built each one of the subclasses toolkit to function differently. The Warlocks are the best, by far the best at freezing enemies. They have direct access to freeze with their melee, and they have all types of exotics which lead to freezing easier. They have the Stasis turret, and they have the Frost Pulse aspect, which also freezes instantly. Stasis Titan is the best at creating stasis crystals as well as shattering stasis crystals. They're able to do massive damage by spawning stasis crystals everywhere, and simply sliding into them and shattering them causes big damage and creates stasis shards if they have the correct aspects on. And Stasis Hunter is the best at slowing down the battlefield. They have many ways of just slowing down combatants by dodging or having the bigger dust field grenades, which will then create stasis shards if they have the correct aspects on, which will then lead to their builds and make their builds function. But like I said a minute ago, with Arc, there really isn't this sense of identity within the subclasses. And the more I play it, the more I just don't like it. You know, the more I play with Solar, the more I'm starting to actually enjoy Solar. But with Arc, I'm using it and I'm like, what am I doing that's so different compared to the Hunter or the Titan? I mean, they're all just doing the same thing. I don't see the Hunter being the specialist and going around punching everything, because the same thing can be said about the Titan and the Warlock. You know, I guess the Warlocks maybe are able to chain their abilities a bit better, like the lightning chains a little bit better, but if you have the Fragment, which allows your grenades to jolt enemies, it doesn't really feel that much different because everybody has access to that fragment. It's not just a Warlock specific thing. And by no means am I saying that Arc is bad. I think Arc can be just fine. I actually think that it actually might be okay and endgame content, of course, we'll see when the GMs open up. I'm not saying that it's bad, or I'm not saying that it is objectively like a boring subclass. Just for me, I feel like there's just nothing special about Arc 3.0. Now, of course, I'm going to keep using Arc 3.0. I'm going to keep experimenting with it, and I'm going to keep putting out build videos. But if you just take a step back for a moment and look at Arc 3.0 compared to Solar Void and Stasis, you're going to realize the same thing that I'm saying here, is that there isn't really uniqueness to it. Every one of the subclasses just does the same thing as the other subclasses. And with Solar Void and Stasis, I just don't get that same feeling at all. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Just keep the discussion respectful, and I look forward to reading your comments. Deuces!